Good day, I'm Dr. T, and welcome to my schedule. So I spent like 4 hours on this, and I gotta tell someone. So when you're setting up schedules, it gets interesting. And so I'm looking at my schedule, and if it looks like my eyes are going every which way, that's because I'm sitting fairly close to the camera. But anyways, here is my schedule. And so looking at this guy, fairly straightforward. This was a class that last year I taught as a Monday, Wednesday, Friday course for 2-hour blocks. This is a lecture lab hybrid course. And this semester, it's going to be a Tuesday, Thursday, 3-hour block, which 3-hour blocks are really long. Okay, so setting this up, when I do a switch from a 2 to a 3, I usually keep it a 3 square block instead of trying to redo my grid. And then I make what would have been the Monday grid, the due Monday grid. And so everything in this grid's due Monday at 11:59 p.m. Makes it simple for the students, makes it simple for myself. And then when I transition this back to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday grid, if that happens, then, well, I just move everything around again. I don't have to remake the grid. Okay, so, I've got my weeks. Now, I'm not counting March or the spring break as one of my weeks. Some places will. Depends on how you want to count them. So I'm counting finals week as week 16. But you could argue that spring break would be week 10, and therefore this would be finals week and not week 16. This would be week 16. That's however you want to do it. It doesn't really matter. I've seen it done both ways. Okay, let's talk about what took like 4 hours about this. Okay, so I'm actually not technically done. I need to type in no class due to science fair. I'm judging the science fair. I'm giving it as extra credit, assuming COVID doesn't cancel it. And so we've got 2 science fairs, K5, which is going to be on March, whatever this is. I think it's 10th, the Thursday before our spring break. And that's like I think it's a regional, maybe it's a state. Anyways, it's one of the big ones. And then we've got 6 through 12, which is early February. That's on a Friday, so it doesn't affect this class. And then I'm going to give the students extra credit for helping out because we always need a ton of help with those guys. And I do think they learned something from it, I hope. Anyways, so I'm canceling class on that day because I'm going to probably be safety judge and do some stuff with that. So that day's gone. So that's blocked out. And you notice how I gray out days that are not there. So spring break, they're not there, so that's grayed out. That day's grayed out. My Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, I've got Martin Luther King Day grayed out. Obviously, it's not grayed out on this one because we don't meet on Mondays. Okay. Now, what's not on this that really was like, oh, this is going to be hard. Add drop date for us is March 4th. So that would be the Friday after this. Well, okay, I don't strictly have to do this, but I really should. And that is make sure my second test is far enough before that I can get the grades in. So really what I want is my test 2 here. I really want that test 2 here. That makes things fit a lot nicer. But there's a couple reasons why that ain't going to happen. One of which is the add drop date. So I need to get student performance or student like preliminary evaluations, midterm evaluations, whatever they're calling it this year. That has to go out on the 1st. So I need to get this out. Now I can guess about that from the test, but the students are actually going to really want to know their test scores by the 4th, which I guess would be over here. So with the test, I can't grade that in 24 hours. That's probably going to take me a weekend. So that means that test 2 has to come up here, and this is going to create a lot of headaches for me. Okay, so I've got a series of modules. I don't like going by the book. This way I'm a little bit more independent with the book. Module 1 is basically not a module. It's the Welcome to Chemistry. This is what a science is. This is all stuff you should have learned already, but I need to technically cover it. So I'm going to spend an hour. I'm going to call it Module 1, and it's basically not a real module. Module 2 is dimensional analysis. Module 3 is sig figs. So basically I'm covering Module 2 here, Module 3 here. I'll probably have a little bit of overlap with Module 4. Module 4 is, this is an atom. This is an introductory. This is Principles of Chemistry 1 or Gen Chem 1. Okay, so this all makes fairly safe sense. On things I really wish weren't there, ACS pretest. So years before I started working here, someone had the great idea that we will do faculty evaluation by, we'll have the students take the ACS exam for that particular class to start with, and then we'll take a different version of that. So we'll take the old one to start with, and we'll take the new one afterwards, and we'll compare how they do. Yeah, so the students just Christmas tree it, at best. So as far as like data, it's meaningless. But that's 2 hours. They're not going to take 2 hours. They're going to take 20 minutes. They're going to take however long it is to Christmas tree 70 questions. And then a little bit longer so they don't feel bad, and then they're going to leave. So if they take 30 minutes, they're being slow. Okay, there's one student that'll take probably an hour. They're actually going to try. So I have to give this 2 hours because that's how long this thing takes. I think it's 2 hours. It'll say. Anyways, so I basically lose 2/3 the first day. Or if this was a 2-hour class, I would have lost all of a day. So I get to do the welcome to the class. I'll do the lab safety. I'll go for that fairly quickly. And so I'm losing this day. That day is gone. I really would like to move this over. I could knock out all of Module 1 and start on Module 2. I could move things ahead here a little bit. But okay, we're fine here. Now, unit tests are usually about 3 units. So it makes sense that if I'm going to do 4 tests, and always, if I can, I always do 4 units. The reason I want to do 4 units is that way I can drop one and there is so much less drama. It is awesome. So I want to do 4 unit tests. Now, of course, if I'm going to do a unit test, I can't move the line. Publisher is annoying about that. It's really tricky not to mess up your grid. Anyways, so obviously I can't do a unit test the same week we covered new content. So I cannot put this test here. That would be completely unfair to the students because we're still learning the content. We've probably gone over most of it on Module 4, and I'll get at what this thing is here in a second. But with this test, so I need to give it a little bit of space. And, you got 16 weeks-ish, 15, 16, depends on how you want to count them. So once every 4 weeks makes a lot of sense. So this is actually a really good spot for this. I've got 3 real units. I got Module 1, or 3 real modules. I got Module 1. That's fine. Okay, now I wouldn't mind a little bit more space. I wouldn't mind putting this test over here and then doing the review on this day. That's nice. But that means the test, by the way, takes out a week. Now, the review, I don't need the whole time for the review, so sticking the review with the lab, that's fine. By the way, I'm not the only instructor teaching this section. If you are setting up sections of labs, you basically have to schedule all the same labs at the same time. So lab 1 occurs on, say, week 3, lab 2 on week 4, for everyone. If you don't do that, you are asking for a nightmare. So, as a group, we were like, okay, well, we typically do lab 1 on week 3, lab 2 on week 4. So that means I get to pick which day I do the lab on, because this is in a studio lab setting where, it's the same room, whether or not it's a lab or not. Great opportunity. I do like it. But that does mean that all I get to do is, do I go Tuesday or Thursday for these particular labs? So Lab 2 actually kind of goes with Module 4, kind of goes with the later modules, so it's kind of right on the line. So, perfect world. I kind of like to do Lab 2 up here, do the overflow there, although all these labs are only like hour and a half max. So, a little excessive. Okay, so this works. This was part of my realization this morning. It's like, I got to pack things in, because once again, I had to move that test 2 up, because I really want it there. But with the add drop date, it really needs to go up here. And also, because I'm canceling class on this day, this is the only day to do that lab. And I'm not doing a test and a lab the same day. I mean, I could. Please no. Not ideal. The test basically burns out the students. You do not get optimal learning the same day as a test. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do sometimes, but, it's not ideal. Okay. Now, okay, so I'm putting this in here. It's like, okay, I need to move this test up here. Module 5 is naming. Module 6, 7, and 8 are actually one giant module. 6 is these are chemical reactions. 7 is how you do stoichiometry. And 8 is these are all the types of chemical reactions. 8 and 7 could get switched in order, and that's why 6 exists. 6 is there so that I can shuffle 8 and 7 if I need to. But just kind of which reactions are going where. It makes kind of sense. Like, 7 coming before 8. Okay, so this is great, but 8 is a big one because with 8, I'm covering types of chemical reactions, which takes a while. Redox reactions, which is a lot of content there. Plus, I've got a lab for Module 8, so, I've got a day for this module, plus I'm going to get maybe half a day out of this one. So Module 8, I really want at least 2 full days, maybe 3. And right now I've got a day and a half. And I can't get an extra day because I can't put Module 8 here because that would be the same day as the test because I have to put the test here. Because of the add drop date. I need enough time to grade it over the weekend. Otherwise, once again, things get ugly. Okay, so fine, I'll do 8.5. I'm going to split off the redox. I'm just going to do that by itself, and that will be part of the unit 3. Okay, that works. That took a while to figure out as I'm trying to shuffle things around here. Okay, now to make things a little bit more interesting, you'll notice these other things, these handouts. These are guided inquiry activities. And so, okay, this is all great. Now, guided inquiry is not a quiz. It has to come first. And this is where things get a little bit more interesting, especially as I'm trying to shuffle things around here. You have to do these guided inquiries beforehand. So, and what was the one that really gave me right here? This one got me. So I've got a nomenclature handout. So naming chemicals is basically like, here is samples of all the types of chemicals we're going to name. Here is the name. Here is the formula. Here is the formula, but not the name, and vice versa. You look at the patterns. You figure it out. So with this one, okay, so that's fine. But I also am doing a lab. So these guys are usually, hour and a half, 2 hours. Labs are, once again, hour and a half, 2 hours. This is a 3-hour class, plus I have to introduce the topic. Oh boy. Now, it turns out this particular one, I texted the lab coordinator, and she's like, yeah, no, that's actually only like a 45-minute lab. Okay, good. This is going to work out. This was the stressful part. Because, once again, I have to get the nomenclature handout before I can do nomenclature. I can't move this down to here. Otherwise, I'd burn this whole day. I can do just the lab, but I can't start nomenclature without starting with a handout because that's how guided inquiry works. And I don't want to lose that. Okay. So, yeah, things are going okay. I'm packing things in. This whole area got shuffled around like crazy, just trying to get the tests in the right spots, etc., because I'm really packing things in. And then down here, we're doing pretty good. This is flowing nicely. Module 9, that's solutions. Module 10, that is gas laws. Module 11, that's calorimetry. I would like a little more time with calorimetry, but I'll deal with it. And then I've got the test. This works great. Module 12, electron configurations. Module 13, Lewis structures and friends. Okay, all of this is going well. But I've got a couple issues. One, normally I don't have a Module 14. Module 14 is brand new. It is actually part of what used to be in Module 1. So this would be like, here's how a scientific paper is written, etc. So it's like, okay, I have no room up here at all. Module 1 has got to be real short. It's going to be, this is a chemical change. This is all stuff you should have learned in grade school. Well, junior high. So Module 14, because at this point, test 3 is here. This is a nice fit. I've crammed everybody up here. Test 3 kind of logically flows here. Oh, by the way, we're on week 12. This is a perfect fit. We're doing every 4 weeks. Now, unfortunately, that means for the students that everybody is doing every 4 weeks. And so every 4 weeks, they have like all their tests. So I am sorry. If you're one of my students watching, I am sorry. This is why that happens. We don't all meet in the cafeteria to coordinate the test to make sure you're having a bad day. It's the way things work. So I do apologize for that. But, it makes sense. Test 3 should be on 3/4 of the way through the class. Okay, so test 3 is here. But you'll notice test 4 really only has 2 modules left. So this actually gets really light. Now, this is deceptively because like module 13 is really big. Lewis structures, these students may well be taking organic chemistry. You have to know Lewis structures. You have to be really good at Lewis structures. So module 13, I'm in no rush. I want to go through module 13. I'm going to go through module 13 a lot. But I mean, there's only so much I can do on module 13 in 3-hour blocks. So 3-hour blocks is going to be kind of excessive for that, even 2. So, okay, 12 and 13 are going to kind of share up here, and that's why I'm bringing the 14. I've got kind of a hole here, and thus I'm going to bring that in from the top, and it's something that can float. I would rather that in the top. It would work better on the top, but hey, this is going to work fairly straightforward here. And then we've got the test 4 and then the final. And obviously I need to update. That was when the final was last year. So I'm still working on this thing. As an instructor, what you are going to find is setting up the schedule is the best thing you can do and one of the hardest parts of setup because you've got a lot of fixed dates. For me, the labs are all fixed to a week because once again, that's how collaboration works. Sometimes you're even more strict on that. I can't move a statewide science fair or anything like that. And then the add drop date, or last day of withdrawal, I guess is actually, add drop date is like the first week. But last day of the withdrawal, and I need to get grades to students. Those are going to be some fixed dates. And then you got the fixed orders of stuff. Do not be surprised if you spend 4 or 5 hours on a schedule, especially if it's something new. This has got a couple of fairly major changes for me. Oh yeah, the other thing that took me like an hour. You'll notice how I have all these masteries. I'm trying, I think it's called mastery-based assessment or something like that. Anyways, the idea on that is, I was reading it in CNE News, r/professors said very good things about it, is kind of like, here's a quiz. It's a very simple 1 or 2 question quiz, maybe 4 or 5, there's small questions, and it's all or nothing. The student either demonstrates mastery in that particular area by getting the right answer, or they don't, and then they get to take it again if they miss it. And so I'm going to give them the test days, because the tests don't take 3 hours. That would just be brutal. So I'm going to give them the test days to make up any missed mastery activities. And of course, they know what's coming in. So, mastery of gas laws. You can pretty much guess the kind of question that's going to be there. Solution stoichiometry, you can kind of guess that. M1V1 equals M2V2. If they can't figure that out, from that name, it's pretty obvious. I guess I don't need an O there. Okay. So that was a new thing for me, and that was interesting to splice in. Like I had a couple more masteries up here. I had percent yield mastery and limiting reagents mastery. Obviously, like I've got no place to put these. I don't want to double them up too awful much. And so, yeah, so that was the other part of this, is like shuffling around masteries. Like I'd set up the goals I had, and sometimes you're just like, okay, these goals aren't quite going to work. I'm going to have to reshape some of my goals because I've only got 16 weeks or 15 weeks. And I've got to give the students a little bit of time at least. I can't be on module 5 doing nomenclature and doing the mastery of it. It's like, let's see if you've mastered it in the last 97 minutes. That's not going to work. So I need to give them a little bit of time. So I try and give them as much time as possible. I'm setting up the homework assignments. Currently Achieve is just not working with me right now. But hopefully TechSport will figure that out here soon. And in this case, when it comes to homework, this is one where I'm always kind of 2 minds. Do you give a lot of individual due dates close to them to kind of keep students working? Or do you kind of give big clumps of them, like all of the Unit 1 and Unit 2 homeworks? I've done it both ways. If you saw my video on giving students more time, more leeway when they're under stressful situations, you'll know that that's a mixed bag. So you don't want to just let them clump it up. A lot of students, especially the younger ones, need more structure, more guidance. So the goal here is to kind of provide some guidance. Yeah, so this way, I'm giving them a weekend at least to do it. So it gives them a little bit of time to do it, but not so much time that they let it build up. Other thing I have learned is make sure your due dates for the homework are before the test. I have had several of them. It's like the test will be on, say, a Monday, and the homework will be due on a Tuesday, with the intention that they would have done it the weekend, and then the Tuesday is just for that last minute, that one question they didn't get to. And what they do is they start the homework after they complete the test, which is kind of pointless. You know, the goal of homework is to learn. It's a learning activity. It's not an assessment. I mean, it kind of is an assessment, but it's a lousy one. Whereas the test is like hardcore assessment. And so it's like, okay, guys, do you want to do the one where you can get it wrong every time and it tells you whether or not you're right or wrong? And it's worth next to nothing for your grade, 10% for the entirety of your grade. You want the one where, that one question might be worth a small fraction of your grade in the course, because, a big question on the test could easily be worth a percentage point or two in the course. So, it's like, which one do you want to do first? And yeah, so students need structure. They are still maturing. You still want to provide them structure. Obviously, know your students. Okay, so this was just one of those, like, I gotta talk to someone about it, so let's make a video, see if anyone watches it. So hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in later videos. I know I have a couple that I need to get to here soon. So, see ya.